Today we're going to test if the n8n AI build feature actually works, or is it just a gimmick. n8n claims that you can use AI to build any kind of workflow. I don't trust them. So let's put it to the test. We want to test it on 3 different levels. But the first level is for anyone who has never built a workflow. Can they come to this feature and actually build something? We are just going to click on build with AI. And once I am on build with AI, the first thing I want to do is simply put a very simple prompt. I'm not going to choose the options that they have given because again, I want to create something myself. So I'm giving create an AI agent that connects to Gmail and replies to emails using AI, right? Someone who has never built anything with n8n will technically use something this simple. I don't want to directly jump into the complex stuff, but if you stay tuned till the end, I'm going to show you how does it actually perform on the tough tasks and is it actually true. Honestly, till now, while it is working, it looks pretty good. I think again, it created a trigger here which can technically receive emails, and then it has a configuration. I want to see what the configuration is about. Is it simple for someone who's never used n8n, and can they also configure this? And it takes probably another 30 seconds to complete this. So we have the result in front of us, and let's actually explore this. So the workflow looks pretty good, honestly, again, but I actually want to see if someone who has not seen n8n before, what do they need to do to get started on this? So first step is very simply, they need to select a credential, which is fine. I can just sign in with Google and I don't need to worry there. So that is okay. But what is this workflow configuration? Because if someone has not used n8n and they see this, they will not be super happy. So if we double click on this, it is just existing to do anything. Like there is not, this just exists and does nothing. Like if you literally see here, it's an empty configuration. There is no configuration as such. So let's come here, and then technically it has like an email response agent with a simple prompt. That is fine. The prompt looks decent and it's pretty good. And then technically again, you have to connect your Gmail tool, and that's okay. Select the credential and add that. And then finally you need to connect your OpenAI key. I do believe they could have just allowed someone to just use directly the OpenAI model. They actually defined this here also with some steps on how to use this. But the only thing that I don't like here right now is the workflow configuration. It is not doing anything except confusing someone who has not done this before. But from a workflow perspective, this is perfect. I would rate a solid 4.5 on a scale of 5. Because if they would not have added this, I think this is a perfect way to get started with someone. But we are not done yet. Let's take it up a notch. Let's use something an actual builder will use. Someone who already knows n8n. What can I make it actually connect to an API automatically and create me a system which can scrape Twitter tweets and put it in a Google Sheet? I don't know. To make things interesting, I'm going to give it a prompt which is a bit tricky, like something that's not super definitive, but something that just hits the spot right there. So let's get down to it. Here is my prompt. It's going to be super simple. I don't want it to expect me to do more prompting, because if I wanted to do that, I would have just done that. I wanted to utilize a particular API also. So I'm going to give it that this is the API to use. So if you see here, we have a pretty solid prompt, simple enough, but also not giving it all the instructions in a single place. Just giving it, here is what I want, right? And let's see what comes out. So let's go see which nodes to pick up, puts all those nodes in your editor, and then finally gives you something to build on top of it. Let's see how does it perform, and if it actually can do this, will be honestly highly impressed. Okay, it has come up with something pretty decently complex. Let's see if we can decode it. So it has given it a quick example also here. Let's actually see the workflow, right? So I'm going to zoom in and really just walk through node by node on what's happening. The one thing I really appreciate here, and then that they really rename the nodes quite well. So if someone is just building a workflow, they can really just understand from the steps. So let's see what's here. It wants the Twitter users, so this needs to be a value of comma separated values of all the tweets. So that's fine. Let's see, again, I can technically put Elon Musk here. Just for an example, I'm just going to stick to him. The API key, I will add this at the end, the top tweets count and the Google Sheet ID. Obviously, they need a Google Sheet that can actually store this data. So we'll come there. This is automatically using to see if again I have input multiple users, it will create a list of tweets, so a list of Twitter profiles that I need to fetch from, and then it uses this to fetch the data from those. This is pretty good. Again, I think the API should be working pretty well, but the point is we're going to run this workflow to see if it actually works. So transform tweet data, this is fine. Here is it to store the tweet data, and it's fine. I have not connected my credentials, so I can connect that. Pretty good, looks pretty good right now. Read and then it sorts them by engagement. So it's using a sort node here to simply sort by engagement, get the top tweets, and then it can technically allow us to store or again utilize credentials to rewrite the content and save the rewritten tweets. So I'll be honest, I'm pretty impressed the way they have done this. So the only thing I need to do is technically create a quick Google Sheet and actually run this workflow. So give me a okay. So I've configured everything. It's the moment of truth. I've not tested this before, so this is going to be the first test. The only thing I did is create the Google Sheets. Okay, fetch tweets from API, BAT request. Why? Is it the authentication? Username or user ID is required, but I have put username. And you see there is a small mistake. The username, technically, this should have been bigger. So the N should be again, the N was smaller and it needs to be bigger. And that is one small issue. Again, I will not hold it against them. Again, it's fine. But also that it is again, that one thing that just that technically makes you understand that it's not perfect. So let's see if we can start from here. Transform tweet data. Okay, we did not again. This also did not run well. So because they are trying to fetch values that they actually don't know anything about, or engagement expects a number, but we got n8n. Okay, so on the part that does a complex workflow work out of the box, well, the question is answered no, it does not. Because the point is, I would want it technically to get to the point that it technically can take this kind of workflows and actually make them quickly without making a ton of mistakes. But I will rate this on level 2 on building complex workflows roughly around 3.5 or something like that. Not even a 4, because this is still I still have to go ahead, look into what the error is and solve that. But level 3 is, can it actually heal itself? Can it actually solve this particular workflow and change the configuration automatically? So that's what we are going to try. Level 3 is, can it modify a workflow? I wanted to use it on another workflow, but given that the workflow that we were trying to build, which technically scrapes data from Twitter and puts it in the sheet, does not work. Let's see, can it automatically heal itself? So I'm going to put this n8n AI, right? And unable to connect to n8n AI service, payload size is too large. Okay, so this is not working, but let's see. If I go here and say execute and refine, and now if it sees the information that it's going to throw an error, can it now solve it? It's too big for it to solve. It's still throwing the same error. So even on again, where technically this can be an actual AI assistant which can help you solve errors, not good. But let's see if I can try it with something else. So if I can, just for an example, copy the error that we are facing. So again, copy this particular error that we have here. I'm just going to zoom out a second. So if I copy this error, switch from build to ask, which is the n8n feature, right? If I switch from build to ask and paste this, can it help me then? Let's see. Can it actually help me then? I don't think it's going to, because or even it's again, I can see what's trying to search. So, okay, so I'm just going to drop in again. I don't think I can even drop in because this is too long for it, which is just I don't know, stupid. I don't think this is a massive context, but okay, this is the input. Okay, it's not able to even this is high payload. I just don't know what that issue is. But very simply, we can safely say the n8n AI on even on the level 3, which is, can it modify an actually existing workflow? The answer is pretty much no. It can't. It can't help me even solve the error. And I can probably ask it to change things, but it will throw the same error, which is it is just too big a payload. So the conclusion is pretty simple. For level 3, it just does not work. So I will probably rate it 1 on 5 just because it answered something and gave me some steps to solve it, but that's pretty much it. So on a total of 15, this thing just really scales up to a barely again 8.5, 9, if I'm being generous. That's not good at all. You are just not getting an actual product which can actually build and help you actually configure workflows. Right now it's a good gimmick to get started. You get the workflow in, but after that the real building is the errors, because just putting together the nodes is fine. Even though it does a good amount of kind of grunt work for us, you still need to build a lot yourself. So my conclusion to this is that it's a good thing to get started, but at any moment right now, if you are thinking that n8n now has an AI feature, so why not just use that and to build it, and you don't need to learn it? Well, that's your answer. That's your actually true answer. It just does not work. But if you're someone who actually wants to learn how to make n8n workflows actually work and build AI products, hit that subscribe button right now. If you're someone who's looking for a bit more guidance and direction, join our AI community, which we have just released and are getting the first 50 members some crazy perks. Go ahead and check it out, and I would love to see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.